Hi, I'm Colin, and let's have a look at the startup wizard for the recorder. So this is the screen you see when you first plug it in for the first time. So we'll start wizard. The first screen we see is the network one. You'll need a wire connected between the recorder and your broadband router, and then it becomes an online system. So by default, the unit comes with DHCP ticked and UPnP ticked. That's fine. You can just click next. I will quickly explain what they're for. DHCP will automatically set up these network connections here. It will negotiate with the router and set the settings here automatically. If you know about networking, you can untick that and manually do it, but if you don't, I recommend you just leave that ticked. UPnP, that allows the 3 ports you see here to be opened by the router using universal plug and play. That's what that's for. Okay, next screen. Now we have the date and time screen. Here you can set the date and time, your format, whatever you like, whatever time zone you're in. Next we have the national time servers. You can enable it and it will automatically sync time with one of these highly accurate servers, or you can do it manually like I do. And then you've got daylight saving time here. Again, you can set the unit to automatically switch to daylight saving time at a certain date. Again, I'll just do this manually. Next screen is the IP camera screen. Now, if you've got any IP cameras on your network, this is where it's doing a search for it. As you can see, you've got the egg timer while it searches, and you can see it's found 3 cameras here, 2 Xvision ones and 1 other brand. And I can simply select each one individually or select them all here, click on the center arrow, add in any passwords, and then it puts them on the right hand side, and then when the state button turns green, as you can see along the bottom of the screen here, you've got 3 cameras added. And then we'll go next. Here is the hard drive screen, nothing to do here. If you do have an external SATA socket on the recorder and you have an external SATA hard drive, here at the bottom left you can enable that unit to be used as the main recording device. Otherwise it uses the internal drives. Next screen is the monitor output screen. By default it's set to 1920 by 1080, but you can set it to any of these settings here, up to 4K. Next is the information for the mobile app. The app is called XIQ Mobile CMS. When you get it, you can add the device using either the QR code here or the P2P ID code you can see here. Next we have a summary of the settings we've just set, and then we can finish the wizard. That completes the wizard video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. The recorder has 5 record modes: normal, motion, PIR, intelligent and manual. When you first get the machine from the factory, it's set to record normal, which means constant recording 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So this is the record scheduler in the menu. As you can see, we're looking at channel 7. Normal is selected, and we've got these green blocks that go across the days from Sunday to Saturday and from 0 to 24 hours. So, to save hard drive space, some customers like to set their recorder to record only motion activity. So, first thing we need to do is change the scheduler from constant record to motion activity. So, on the right hand side, you've got 3 buttons: motion, normal and PIR. So, we've got it on normal at the moment. So, to get rid of that, we leave that normal selected and we click and drag with a mouse, left click, drag a mouse over the entire box area and let go. And that then clears the normal recording. We then select motion recording and do the same. Click and drag a box, let go, and you've got your scheduler set for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, recording motion. And then apply. Just before we leave this screen, let me just mention that the change we've just made only applies to the camera we've got selected, camera 7. If I go to another camera, you'll see we're still on normal constant record. So we're at channel 7. If you do want to put all the cameras to do motion record in one go without going through each one and doing that click and drag thing, you can do that by just being on one that you've set and then go to the bottom corner here, copy. So copy in channel 7 all the days of the week, all the cameras. I'm going to copy that, and that then sets all the other cameras to the same. Okay, so that's the scheduler done. Now we need to go to the motion screen, and we see we've got the channel numbers here, cameras here, and if you click on the cog, that takes you to the setting for that particular screen. So let's go on that one. As you can see, I've got some motion areas set up here. I've got one in the middle of the road and one just entrance to the driveway here. So to enable motion, you have red blocks, and to disable motion, you have clear. So let's say I want to monitor this area here. I can just put some blocks there. Any motion in that area at all will trigger a motion recording. And you right click to come out of that screen. And then we can go to alarm and motion, and we've got another screen here. So we've got channel 7. This will enable the bleeper and how long it bleeps for if it detects motion. This enables record on, and you can set which channel number it records onto. I recommend you just leave it on the same channel number as the camera. So channel 7 records on 7, unless you've got any particular reason to enable other channel numbers to start recording. Say if you've got a camera very close to it and you want to start recording as soon as it detects motion on the camera next to it, then you could do that here. Post recording is how long it records after the motion activity has gone away or stopped. So if someone goes indoors or stands very still, that will stop the motion and it will continue to record for 30 seconds up to 5 minutes. Show message. This will show a message on the screen that there's motion activity. Send email. If you've got your email set up on the system, it will send you an email saying motion has been detected. Full screen will automatically switch the split screen view you normally see when you're looking at your cameras over to full screen. So as soon as motion detected, that camera comes up full screen. And then FTP upload. If you've got an FTP file server that snapshots are being saved to, it will automatically save a snapshot to the server. Okay, that completes motion. So now we'll look at the PIR function. This is a mode, it's an intelligent mode that works with AHD cameras only. So the first thing we need to do is change the scheduler to PIR. So we'll select PIR, click and drag the box, and then we'll click motion and click and drag again to get rid of motion. So we are now recording PIR only. Okay, now we go to channel and PIR. And we'll see the AHD camera on channel 7 is here available. So we click on the setup screen. PIR recording will allow you to select an area very specifically, very similar to motion detection, but slightly different. Let me show you. So let's say we want to monitor an area over the road here on this driveway. So using the mouse, you just click the first point, move to the second point, third point, fourth point, fifth, and then sixth. Now don't worry if you haven't got it right first time. Once you've got it set roughly right, you can click on this red box here and allow you to bring up each point, and you can really drill it down to the perfect area. Once you're done, right click and apply, and then you'll see your settings are there. And then again, if you go into the alarm PIR section, you've got the same settings as per motion, how long the bleeper bleeps for when it gets an activation, where it records, how long it records after the activation, whether it shows the message on the screen, sends an email, or brings it up full screen. The next record mode I'm going to talk about is intelligent. That is found under channel and intelligent. It has its own scheduler, so you can enable that the same way. Click and drag the box to fill in the schedule blocks. So again, that's doing intelligent functions 7 days a week. There are 6 intelligent record modes: perimeter intrusion, line crossing, stationary object, pedestrian detection, face detection, cross-counting. So let's go to perimeter intrusion. Let's enable it. And then we've got the various modes available to us now. So We can have it bleep at us for a certain amount of time. We can set the sensitivity, and we can set the scene to indoor or outdoor. Now the area setup is where you set up your different rules. As you can see, we've got 4 rules per camera. Let's enable rule 1, and let's set a line across the road. Now we've got rule type of A to B. So what I'm saying is anything going from the outside the box to inside the box will be logged. Anything coming from inside the box to outside the box will not be logged. You can reverse that, and you can also make it do 2-way. As with the PIR function, you can click on the red box and tweak to your heart's content. Once that's done, hit save. Click OK to restart, and the unit will restart. Once the unit is restarted, you'll have your rule showing on screen here, and it will only trigger when something triggers through it. Okay, if we go back to the menu and intelligent, we'll see we've got the same settings we had here for the motion and the PIR settings, where it will show the message, which is the green S, send an email, bring the camera up full screen, and then you can set which channel number it records on. Okay, finally we're on to manual mode. Now this is a manual record button that you can hit whenever you're watching your cameras, or you see something going on. You can hit the record button and it will start recording on all cameras. That's the red button on the front of the recorder. Alternatively, you can right click with the mouse and go to manual mode here on the bottom right hand corner. Click on it, and that brings up the manual record screen, and here you can enable record mode on one, all, or many of your cameras. And the final method to record manually is if you are looking at, say, a split screen view or even a single screen view. As you click on each window, you'll see there's icons along the bottom of each window. The left hand one is the manual record button. Hit that and it'll start recording on there, and you'll see you've got the red icon. So it's recording on there and there, not on these two. To disable it, just click it again. Or go to manual mode and disable it here. That completes the recording section of this video. Okay, now let's have a look at the playback screen. There are 3 ways to access the playback screen. The first one, press the play button on the front of the recorder, and it goes straight to the screen. Second one, right click with the mouse and hit this button here. Now you have an option of hitting instant playback of 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30, 1 minute or 5 minutes. Doing that will instantly start playing. Or if you just right click and just hit the play button, that brings up the screen. And the final way, right click, select the menu and hit search. When you come to the playback screen, you'll see that all the search types top left are selected. You can deselect that and just select the one you want. So normal and motion, for example. Here you have a calendar, and you can see the days of the month. Anything with any recordings will have a red line underneath, as you can see these days here. So if I select Friday, normal and motion recording, you'll see there's 5 cameras now illuminated. I can select 4 of them cameras, and it will fill in the timeline recordings at the bottom there. You can see where there's stuff happened, and I can play, and I can click anywhere along this timeline to bring up that moment in time, very simply. As you can see on the bottom, you've got a midnight to midnight timeline, so the whole 24 hours is there. You can drill down using these buttons on the bottom right hand corner, go down to 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes. You have playback controls here, so we can go full screen, fast backwards, and we can go 2, 4, 8 or 16 speed. We've got slow play, which can be half speed, quarter speed, 1/8 or 1/16. Standard playback or pause. Step is moving forward one frame at a time, and each click will step it forward one frame at a time. We've got stop, fast forward again, ×2, ×4, 8, 16. We have zoom, and when you click on that it'll bring up the camera full screen, and you'll have the another shot down the corner here. You can use the mouse wheel now. Put the cursor where you want to look. Let's look down the road, and then use the wheel and it will zoom into that part of the screen. On this shot in the bottom right hand corner, you can drag this rectangle around now and look anywhere in the shot, and then use the wheel to zoom back, and then right click to come out of the zoom mode. Next one we have is video clip. Now this is if you need to export the footage to USB to give to the police, or just to keep it for your own evidence. Let's go here, let's click on video clip, and let's drag to about there, and then hit backup, and then we've got the backup screen that comes up. We can choose H.264, AVI or MP4. I always recommend MP4 because most computers can read an MP4 file. It gives you the size, the start time and end time. Hit save. Pop your USB drive in the front or the back of the unit, and then click OK. And once that's done, you can remove the USB stick and play it in any computer. Looking again at the playback screen, along the top you've got a few different options here. And events will show you any events that have happened during the day, any motion activity or any triggers. Let's go to Friday the 3rd, let's go to normal and motion, and let's go to camera 7 and search. So you'll see there we've got different shots taken at different times of the night using that one camera. You can click on one and then hit play button and it'll play it. You can click on it, tick on it, and then hit the backup button, export it to USB. So this mode allows you to have a search through any events, so you can quickly see what's happened in the space of the evening. Let's just go back to this screen here. So you can see at this point there's no tyre marks on this bit of snow here, and there is here. So this is the point where whatever happens here happens here. So let's have a quick look. Let's quickly flick through it. Oh, there we go. So pretty much instantly we can find out what time something happened, and if we can get more information from that, then there it is. You've got a few different views here. Down the bottom you can have thumbnail view we're looking at now, file view, and then list view. File view, this is useful if you wanted to select all of those shots in one go. You can grab 248 shots in one go there. Here's good if you want to just individually pick certain times for exporting or playing back. You can do that, or of course you can just instantly play any one by just clicking on the play button. Next screen we have is sub periods. Now here you get a split screen view of the same camera at fixed time periods. So let's just do full screen view of camera 7. So you see when you play it, you've got 4 playback screens at different times. You've got midnight, 10 to 4 in the morning, 20 to 8, and then 11:28. You can split that down to 8 ways. So we've got 8 views there. And if you see something you want to do, play back more detail, just double click on it, and it then plays it back for you full screen. Next screen is Smart. Now this is a very good feature. This allows you to search for any activity in a certain point on the shot. So let me show what I mean by that. So you pick your camera, your date, your time, the type of trigger you want. Click on this little man here, running man here, and that shows you the grid. Now I want to monitor just this area here, which is the entrance to my driveway. So I'm going to get rid of this grid, just click and drag a box over it. So that's gone. Get rid of this bit here. There we go. So the only bit of motion I want to look for now is here. So once I've picked the area, I click on the magnifying glass. And then the system shows me on the blue line on the top here the only activations where there's any motion. Now during the evening, obviously when it's night, you're going to get a lot of, as you see here, light bleeding into that area, so that we'll naturally get triggers. But when we get into the daytime stuff, go to here, we've got a cloud, there we go, we've got a car coming out the drive, another car coming out the drive, another car going back in the drive, me coming home. So there we go, there's the searching for anything that's happened in that area only. And you can see these people here. And the final window on the playback screen is Picture. This is where you can view any snapshots or any manual captures you've got. So if you've clicked the manual capture button at any point, or if you've got in the menu, if you have capture set up anywhere, this is where you'll be able to play back your photos. So go to Picture, pick a day, pick a channel and search. It then brings up all the pictures from that day. You can select one and hit play, and it'll just play that, show that photo, and then show the next one, and just keep showing each frame as you go. As you can see on the left hand side, the current file is being showed there. So you can see I've got it set up to every 30 seconds take a photo. So we're now playing that back. I can at any point hit the backup, select file or several files and hit backup, and it'll then back it up to USB. Or if I want to select quite a few, I can just have as many photos as I want to, and then hit the backup button, and it will export them all to USB. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find, install and use our mobile app that works with our AHD recorders and our IP NVRs. The app is called XIQ Mobile CMS, and it's available on the Android Play Store as well as the iOS App Store. So I'm going to do the demo using an iPad, but the settings are the same for all devices. So if you go to the App Store or Play Store and then search for XIQ Mobile, and then you'll get the option of XIQ Mobile CMS, CMS standing for Central Management System. So select that one, download it. Once it's downloaded, open the app. So the first thing you see is, can you send notifications? I always click yes. Doesn't do any harm. You can always turn that off again in the settings of the device. Okay, so now we need to add the recorder you've bought from us onto the system. So if you go to config on the left hand side, and this is the device settings screen. Now on the top right hand corner we've got a plus button. If you touch that, and then you've got the device settings screen here. So device name, you can leave it whatever you like. Let's call it demo just for the purpose of this video. Now login type, you can choose between IP domain or device ID. Device ID is probably the easiest one to do. If you don't want to mess about with router settings and you're not knowledgeable in IT, then this is the easy one for you. Your recorder has a unique device ID code, a P2P code, and if you add that information into this app, that will find it. It doesn't matter about your router settings, it will just find it. So for this video, I'm going to use the easy method and use the device ID. So select device ID. And now to add the device to the system. There's two methods. You can either scan a QR code from the top of the recorder, or you can manually enter it. I'll do the difficult way, the manually entering it, just to make it hard. But if you want to do the scan, you touch the blue QR code thingy, allow it to access the camera, and then you would scan the code from the top of the recorder into the box here. But for this purpose, this video, I'm going to do it manual way. So I'm going to touch on just right of the blue square where it says please click on the left picture, and that allows the keyboard to come up and you can enter the code. Now if I just switch over to the screen that the recorder has, and I'll show you where that code can be located. Right click with the mouse, click on System and the I, and then you've got the P2P code at the bottom of the screen here, or the QR code on the right hand side. Alternatively, go to the main menu, System, Information, and the same screen appears. Okay, so that's the code entered. Media port would be default set to 9000. Username is admin, and the password is admin. Now, if you haven't set that up in your recorder, not a problem, just leave it blank, or if you change the password from something else, pop that in there and then click the save button top right hand side. Then the device appears. There's the cameras from the system. Now you notice the quality is quite low. There's a reason for that. That's to keep your data allowance usage down. And obviously you don't need to see a really high resolution image on a small screen. However, you can if you want to. So let me show you how to do that. So first of all, let's get rid of the stuff on the left. Let's get rid of that menu. And so we've got larger screens, 4 nice large screens there. Let's select the bottom left one. And then down the bottom, the 4th icon from the bottom, the one that's got that one there, look, has options. You've got mobile stream, which is the one that you're on now. You've got a higher resolution substream. Let me just bring that up full screen. So let me just switch that back. So mobile stream, quite grainy, quite sort of soft and pixelated. Mobile stream, a lot sharper. This is the this is the substream, and then we've got the highest resolution, which is the mainstream. So this is 4 megapixel. Now if I just show you, I can zoom in. I can just pinch on the screen and zoom in and look around the picture, so you can see it's fairly clear there. There we go. To bring back split screen, you can either select on this icon here and bring up the option of split screen or 6-way view, up to 36-way view. Okay, other things this thing can do. If you've got a camera that's a pan tilt zoom camera, right hand side icon will open up the pan tilt zoom settings screen. Or if you've got any of our motorized cameras, you can operate them via this. If you've got multiple, say if you had 16 cameras and you're looking at a four camera view, you can flick between views here. First set of 4, second set of 4, etc, etc, and just keep going. Next is the full screen button. That just gets rid of all the menus. And we've got the different screen options here I showed you a minute ago. Next button along will just stop all screens, so I'll just show you that. It'll just cancel all screens, so I need to bring that back up. Now to bring all the screens back up, you can just click on where it says demo and drag and drop that there, and that will drop all the cameras in. Or if you want, you can just pick an individual one up and just drop it. This one is just a simple stop start button for the selected screen, so you can stop an individual one if you wanted to. The star button is for saving a channel as a favourite. As you see on the left hand side now, we've now got a favourites channel. So if I set channels 3 and 4, 3 and 4 as favourites, so I select 3 and 4, and then you'll see in here, if I wanted to just drag those across, I could just have the 2 favourites. Okay, now down the left hand side, oh sorry, down the bottom still, we've got obviously the substream, mainstream settings I said here. Substream is a good quality, but not taking too much data setting, so that's a good option. Next to that one is a record button. So just bring that up there on substream and record that. This is now recording to the iPad, and it'll be in the gallery of the iPad, the recording. Also the stills as well. I'll show you those in a second. So that's a bit of recording video, and if I just take a still, there we go. Now when I go to record on the left hand side, there's the recording. And then when I go to image, there's the snapshot image. You notice it's quite grainy because that's substream. Let's just go back and try that again. Let's do a mainstream photo. There we go. So image. That's a lot better. Okay, and then config is where we were before, which has got the device screen. Next to that is an alarm option. Here you can click on the cog top right hand side and you can enable or disable push notifications for the recorder. So any motion triggers you've got set up, as soon as you get in motion activation, it'll pop up a little message on the screen, and it'll also do that when the app is closed as well. So it's pushing it to the front of the screen so you're notified straight away when there's motion triggered there. And then favorites is just showing you the list of items you've chosen in the favorites section. Help is basic instructions. And then the only one I haven't covered is playback. So on the left hand side you've got the calendar. Let's pick some channels. Let's pick those two channels there. Actually that's other four. And then search. So now at the bottom here you've got a timeline starting from midnight and going across. Obviously we're about 10 AM here, so it's just showing you from midnight to 10 AM. The top channel 1 you can see has been constantly recording, apart from when I rebooted it about 5:30 this morning. And then you've got a few motion triggers on channel 2, and then some intelligent stuff on 3 and 4. So let's just hit play. So because channel 1 is recording constantly, that's the only one that's showing. As soon as it gets to an activation on the other cameras, as soon as the timeline gets across to it, the other screens will appear. You can of course get rid of that now. You can also get rid of that as well. You can bring it up full screen. You can also record it to the machine, the iOS device, or take snapshots as you're watching it as well. Now to move along to a different time point, let's go to say 8 o'clock this morning. You scroll, oh sorry, hang on, let's just go back to config, let's bring that window up. I forgot to click the synchronization, so all 4 are synchronized. So let's just play that. So when I scroll the timeline across, it goes to all 4. Let's go to where there's a bit of motion, about there. As you can see, it's playing back its recordings. In this video I'm just going to run through how to use the XIQ CMS software that comes with our DVRs, our HD DVRs and our 4 megapixel NVRs. So install the software from the CD-ROM and then we'll just run the program. First screen is a login screen, just click on login here, this is the default password here. Okay, so the first time you run the program you'll have this wizard appear. Click on the next button, and now this is the screen where we can add the recorder. So you've got the recorder set up on the system already, networked and working okay, so you can just click add online device. It will then search for any devices compatible on the system. As you can see we've got a few demo ones here in the office. So I'll click on the 32 channel one and that fills in this information on the right, and then we'll click add selected device. Okay, so here we can name the recorder. We'll call it 32 channel just for the video, and stick your normal username, password in, and log in. So admin and no password is the default. And you'll see it's appeared as an icon on the left hand side here. If you highlight it and click import, or don't bother highlighting it and click import all, it will then move it to the right hand side. As you can see there's a little triangle here next to the default group icon. Click on that and that then brings down the recorder. Another one next to it, and there we've got the individual camera numbers. Okay, so that's added. We can now go to the next screen and finish the wizard. If you're not on the same network as the recorder itself and you want to add the recorder to the software, click on add device. And then here you would obviously add the recorder's name, DVR. You put the IP address in there. To find out what your external IP address is, go to a web browser, open up Google, type in the letters IP into the box and hit enter. and then you're given your external IP address there. While we're on this screen, let me just show you a couple of things we can also do with this group device screen. Now we've got the device added, if you see, if you just hover the mouse over it, the three icons appear here on the right. Now the middle one is just to delete this device, delete this recorder. This one on the left, the pencil and the bit of paper, is to modify the settings. So here you could rename it to, I don't know, DVR at home or whatever you want to call it. That's the IP address the recorder's on, the internal IP address. That's the port it uses, media port 9000, the username and password, and how many channels it is. So we'll just modify that. And you see we've got DVR at home there. We can also, with this screen, remotely control the recorder. We can change the settings of the recorder. So we just click on the spanner and that takes us into the system settings of the recorder. Now I won't go through all these functions. This is the basically mirrors the GUI on the recorder itself. You've got image control, settings for the cameras, camera names, that sort of thing, whether time zones are shown, any privacy zones you want there. You've got your record settings, different streams, substreams and parameters and scheduler. You've got the network settings, the email setup, all this gubbins, the motion settings, the alarm, hard drive situation, cloud storage. So everything you can do on the machine itself you can do here remotely. Okay, so now we can go to the main view. Now if you haven't got the main view appearing there, that's because you haven't opened it yet. Just go to main view here and that then appears as a tab at the top there. Okay, so we've got the main view up. Here we can see the default group. Little triangle, there's the recorder. Triangle again, there's the cameras. So you can either just drag and drop into any window you want, or you can just double click and it'll fill in the spaces. So that's the pictures live. By default it will load in the lower resolution substream, which you can see here. So if I double click on this you can see it's quite fuzzy and a bit, it's not HD anyway. So if we just go back to the icon on the left hand side, right click and set mainstream, that then switches up to the full HD picture you can see there. To get back to the split screen view again, you can either double click on the screen or you can pick on this icon here and then choose a screen layout from this menu here. So let's choose that one there. Okay, now if you wanted to put this camera in that window, just drag and drop it there and it'll swap them over. And again, at any time you want to, you can switch to main screen to bring the quality up. Okay, so that's the live view screen. We've got a few icons at the bottom here. This one is the full screen button. This is the screen layout one we just seen. Next is the stop button, and this will turn off the view for all cameras. Next is the record button. So we've got this camera here highlighted. Hitting that will record on that one. If you were in full screen mode, you could switch between cameras using this one, forward and backwards. Nice quick way of seeing all your cameras quickly in full screen. This one will allow you to set it up so it will switch automatically for you, so you can make it switch every 20 seconds. It'll just start switching between different camera views. And then finally we've got an audio mute button there. For any cameras with audio in, you would use that. Also on each window, you'll notice when I highlight each window and I hover the mouse over it, there's a bunch of buttons that appear. So the first one is a snapshot button. That will take obviously a snapshot photo of that moment. As you can see, it's put it there. There it is. Next one is the record button again. This will start recording in that window. You can have several windows recording at once, not a problem. And then when you stop it, it shows you where the recording is. Next is a joystick icon. This only applies if your camera is a pan tilt zoom camera, a PTZ. If it wasn't enabled, this would be here. This would be bring up the on-screen PTZ control panel. This stops the view again of just that camera. Next is a zoom button. Click on that, and then you can then drag an area of the picture and release, and it will then zoom. And double click to bring it back. Next is the image control menu. Tint, contrast, brightness, colour. And then again the individual audio mute control. That's the main view. Remote playback. This is the playback screen for the recorder. So you pick up to 4 channels to playback. Pick a date and then hit the search button. That then fills in the timeline on the bottom. As you can see, we've got cameras 1 and 4 recording here up till 2 o'clock. Then we've got all 4 cameras recording. So to play back, click on the play button, and then you can move the windows to any time you want. As you can see, we've got individual playback times on all 4 windows, and you can make them all be synchronized by ticking this box here on the left, synchronous playback.